Michigan, where in Lansing, Michigan, the capital of Michigan, it turns out that the protests that have gone on now for several weeks have finally done something, and that is shut down the Michigan legislature. From David Welch and Bloomberg, Michigan closed down its capital in Lansing on Thursday, canceled its legislative session rather than face the possibility of an armed protest and death threats against Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The shutdown was done with little fanfare at the end of Wednesday's state Senate session. About 4:30 p.m., lawmakers in the Republican majority chamber simply adjourned until Tuesday rather than call the next previously scheduled meeting for Thursday morning at 10 a.m. And, the story of that sounds a lot more benign, but when you see the pictures of what actually went down in Lansing and how ugly some of the protests got, there were fears, of course, because people had brought, there's a right to carry, but brought weapons to these protests, that they were being portrayed as violent. But no, not at all. Take a look.
You guys certified in your job? Did you have to go through training and stuff? Me too. Only there's a lot of people that
and I second that guy that was up here. If you own a business.
This is what the fight was. Stop fighting
Yes, that is in fact the protesters fighting each other. That was not counter-protesters. That was an internal fight. And it gets funnier. It's also, of course, frightening and absurd. And I'm going to get to the downsides in a second. But first, let's just enjoy them fighting each other and the absurdity of it. So someone had brought a Barbie doll. And if you notice, by the way, a brunette one, which is what Gretchen Whitmer is, brunette, and hung it naked there. And I like how we're blocking out the genitalia of the Barbies. Anyway, or the lack thereof. So other protesters, to give them credit, were like, hey, don't do that, right? Don't hang things. It makes the rest of us look violent. If they left it there, that's great, and I would give them credit for it. But they couldn't. They said, don't do that. It makes us look violent. So if you keep doing it, I'm going to kick your ass.
Just remember, they don't want to appear violent.
So then finally they just grab it, and then the guy tries to, hold on to it, and then somebody else comes in and takes that out and gives it back to the guy, and et cetera. And it just becomes a melee over the naked hanging Barbie. Meanwhile, they assure us, don't worry, we're still doing social distancing. They don't look like social distancing. And yes, you're right. Hanging anything looks violent, and they shouldn't do that. You know what else looks violent? AR-15s. When you guys show up in military fatigues carrying significant weaponry, that also gives a little violent edge to it. By the way, that Pikachu, there's a person underneath that. That's a real weapon that he's holding. I believe it's an AR-9.
I didn't expect that to come. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, they are so caught up in not appearing a certain way. And who are these people, right? I mean, you want to know who these people are. Then The Guardian talked about these people. But the protest was organized in April. The protest they had organized by the Michigan Conservative Coalition, which Michigan State Corporate Filings show has also operated under the name of, you'll not believe this, Michigan Trump Republicans. It was also heavily promoted by the Michigan Freedom Fund, a group linked to the Trump cabinet member Betsy DeVos, who is the Secretary of Education. And it turns out also that some of our favorites in the Proud Boys were there as well. Listen, I don't want to overplay this. I mean, they did have an effect. The legislature was closed, and it was certainly in response to what happened, maybe fears about what's happening. When you hang someone in effigy at any time, it is provocative and it is violent, and that's a terrible thing. But we're talking about a smattering of very far right-wing people that were out there. The pictures, though, do show some horrific things. And it shows, even in the age of COVID, these people are not distancing, even if they say they are. Look at them. They're approaching each other and fighting each other. And this is what people are up against now.
So Michael explained who was behind the April protest. This Thursday protest, it appears Michigan United for Liberty was behind it. And I'm sure other people showed up that were not connected to that group. But they were calling it Judgment Day. So if you're not going to do anything that is violent, and you bring heavy weaponry and you call it Judgment Day, and last time you went into the State House and peered over the legislators with weapons in your hands, I don't know that I would go with Judgment Day as the rallying cry. And if I was Pikachu, I don't know that I'd bring a weapon with me if I wanted to send a friendly message. But the other thing is, guys, one, the intimidation worked. They shut down the state legislature. So that is atrocious. That's unbelievable. And they say, oh, no, the weapons are just, they have nothing to do with it. That's just our constitutional rights. No, the weapons had everything to do with it. They didn't shut down the state legislature because you were bringing flowers. They shut it down because you were bringing AR-15s. And by the way, you know who shut it down? The Republican-led legislature. Right. While going, oh my God, guns are great. They're fantastic. We don't mind them being here. The legislators were like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here before they show up with all the guns. So what happened to guns being benign? Apparently, you don't even believe that.
Yeah, they know how bad this is making them look. I mean, you would think that if it was out of fear, the Democrats would be doing it, saying, oh, we don't want to put the governor, we want everybody to be safe, we don't want to put the governor in any kind of danger. I mean, this is clearly a threat to Governor Whitmer, but it's the Republicans who said, this has gone too far, this looks bad. And again, like you just said, Cenk, the appearance of guns on the State House steps is not where Republicans want to be.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.